From an editing perspective, the Pembrokeshire Murders Catching the Game Show Killer documentary is pretty good. It has a lot of footage to utilise. It puts together a lot of different interview footage and things like the game show clip itself. But as something that's going to tell the story of John Cooper, the serial killer from Pembrokeshire, it's not that great. And it does need to be said that this is technically a companion to the 3-part drama series that's just been on called The Pembrokeshire Murders. And I haven't seen that documentary series because I just have this thing where I'm not the biggest fan of drama series, that are based on true crime. I just feel like it's just one reconstruction too far, and I never really got on board with it. But I was pleased that there was going to be a companion documentary, just a one-off. It's about 45 minutes long, I think. And I was really looking forward to watching this and, finding out more and thinking, well, I don't really want to watch 3 hours of a fictitious representation, but I would like to find out more about John Cooper and his killings and how he was convicted. Unfortunately, this documentary series, the documentary itself does not tell you really anything about his victims. It doesn't really show footage of his victims. It doesn't go into detail about the killings or any of the crimes he committed. It does look at some forensics and some trace evidence that they found and how that forensics led them to John Cooper as a suspect and then eventually as somebody they were able to arrest. So that in that respect, it was pretty interesting because we did have a look at particularly a pair of shorts that he owned that were quite pivotal in this. But because I haven't got any real knowledge or understanding of the crimes committed or the victims, I can't really pair it to anything. So it's not really very well executed in that respect. I don't feel like I have a good understanding of the victims, where they were, who they were, why he did it. There's no real psychoanalysis here. It's a very flat documentary. I did thoroughly enjoy seeing the footage from the time of his interviews and of him outside the courtroom and things. That was beneficial and it is well edited together. It does have some reconstructions that I just assume are from the 3-part drama. So if you have watched the drama series, then I think this probably would be a pretty decent companion, and it would, just help to clarify some things that maybe would have just been too factual to put into the drama series. But as a documentary on its own, it's not very good. Did they intend it to be something that a person could watch on its own? Or is it literally just a companion? If they intended it to be an accompaniment to the drama series, just to give you that little bit extra, that's actually fantastic, and I think that's brilliant, because I think that's just something that I've never seen done before, where there's a series based on a true crime, and then they actually give you a factual approach as well, with interviews from people involved in the case, the detectives, the forensic scientists. That's brilliant. But if it was something that they had created for people to watch on their own, they've done obviously extensive research into John Cooper and into these cases. So why not utilise it and make a true crime one-off documentary as well? If they did this for people who didn't want to watch the series, then they've done a very poor job. So I can't really say one way or another whether or not they've done a good job with what they intended, because I don't know what their intention was. I don't know if they were targeting people who had watched the series, or if they were targeting people who hadn't watched the series but who were interested in the case and wanted a factual documentary. It doesn't heavily focus on Bullseye. I think that's important to mention. I did think this was just going to be like 40 minutes of them saying how Bullseye played a part in this. It's not. It does mention what happened and how that linked to him and how they used that to help convict him. And I think that was brilliant and very clever. And the people talking to the camera in this are very knowledgeable and very clever and definitely know what they're talking about. I just think the documentary itself misses out some fundamental aspects of his crimes that would help you to get a deeper understanding of the importance of the forensics. And I'm sure the drama series, which has been very well received, explained those victims and highlighted those crimes and those killings very well. And this does seem like it would be a good companion. On its own, absolutely not good. Also, apparently that the picture from Bullseye and the artist's impression was apparently amazing. I don't think they look anything alike. He doesn't have a scruffy beard in the Bullseye clip, and he does in the impression. His hair's curly on Bullseye, it's wavy in the impression. I don't think they look anything alike. But, it's by the by, because the outcome was the outcome, and that's all that really matters. Would I recommend this? Not on its own. If this is the only documentary out there about John Cooper, which I doubt it is, but I haven't looked, but if it's the only one, then give it a go and it'll give you a little bit of an understanding. It is nice or interesting to see the interview footage and to see how he reacts to being accused. But if you've watched the series, then I assume it's absolutely a brilliant accompaniment. So I might recommend it on its own, but I think if you've watched the series, then I probably would recommend it, I guess. If you've seen the series and you think it's worth watching, do let me know. I'm not, as I said, the biggest fan of reconstructions in general. Never mind a 3-hour reconstruction. But if it's the most amazing thing ever, I might give it a go. But for now, I'm happy enough with this one-off documentary. Certainly I'm interested to learn more. The documentary's not enough to satisfy my curiosity, but it's a pretty decent springboard.